I'm here today with Professor Yair Hirschfeld, Academic Director of the S. Daniel Center for Strategic Studies in Israel. Professor Hirschfeld, welcome.
Good evening.
Professor Hirschfeld, a recent ceasefire covering the southwestern part of Syria has come into force after having been brokered by the United States and Russia last Friday. What is Israel's view on the ceasefire?
I think there are good news and there are potential bad news. The good news is that if the ceasefire holds, and we very much hope it holds, it should be possible to stabilize the area, stabilize the Syrian-Jordanian border, help to add more stability and economic support for the stability in Jordan, who carry a very, very heavy burden of over 1.5 million refugees. Most of them from Syria and from Iraq. And I would also say that an American Russian understanding to stabilize the situation is in essence a very positive development. We obviously also have a very vested interest to stabilize the situation between the Golan, where our forces are, and the other part of this three-state triangle. This is all potentially good news. There is potential very bad news that if there's no American presence on the ground and there's Russian presence on the ground, that the Russians will either by their own will or they will be pressured to get Hamas, not Hamas, but Hezbollah fighters in there, or Iranian fighters in there, who will spell a lot of trouble. And there's no Israeli government that can tolerate that. And if this happens, the ceasefire will turn into a very dangerous might turn into a very dangerous new flare-up that can cause much trouble to everybody involved.
What do you perceive the risk of seeing an increased number of ISIS fighters fleeing towards Syria and perhaps even Lebanon, and what would the impact for Israel be in that case?
Well, so far, on the immediate Israeli understanding has been not to get involved directly, to offer humanitarian help to victims of conflict in Syria. We've offered important humanitarian help in various ways. But to make it very clear that a strengthening of Hamas, of Hezbollah presence in the area, of the presence of other fundamentalist, radical, militant Islamic groups that may have take action against Israel is not tolerable. That we will not tolerate Iranian deliveries of rockets and missiles via Syria to Hezbollah and Lebanon via this area. We have made this clear to the Russians. There's been a quite understanding between Israel and Russia that Israel will not get this and this will be coordinated with Russia. So far, the Russians have fully understood this, and this is worked quite effectively. The question is what happens if there's a stabilization of the situation, and the Iranian direct forces, or Iranian proxies, will try to intensify whatever militant and tendencies they have, then we might be in trouble. The other question is what will happen when there's a serious pacification effort. Here again, a strong Iranian presence in Syria will not be tolerable for Israel because it will bear very serious dangers. They have supported terror. They have encouraged terror acts against Israel. They have a very aggressive way of creating a vicious circle of violence and Israel cannot permit this to happen.
Professor Hirschfeld, thank you very much for your input, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you also very much. All the best.